The mainstream media, they have tried to convince us that Paige Bueckers is a draw. Me personally, I think she's a star, but I'm not exactly convinced that she is a draw.
Ever wondered why the media is focusing more on Paige Bueckers than Caitlin Clark, even though the numbers tell a different story? Bueckers' draft night drew 1.3 million viewers, while Clark's last year had 2.6 million. That's half the audience. This gap challenges the popular narrative. Both players are talented, Bueckers with her championship wins, and Clark with her scoring records. But these viewership numbers show something important beneath the surface.
She ain't on Caitlin Clark's level in terms of excitement or accomplishment. And I know they just won a national championship, but she played with two players that are either just as good, and the Sarah Strong's probably better than her or will be better than her.
Let's take a closer look at what these ratings really mean, why there's a gap between the media's narrative and what the public actually cares about, and dig deeper into these numbers to understand the real market trends.
Probably the most horrible ran draft I've seen in sports history. Like, this was just terrible. The WNBA did a horrible job with this. From one, the marketing was terrible all the way up until the draft itself. It was just...
This week's WNBA draft was a big deal, and Paige Bueckers made an entrance with her girlfriend. Let's just say, it definitely turned into a bit of a whole spectacle.
Now, that number, it can be credited 100% to Paige Bueckers because every other player involved was completely unknown.
The numbers are in, and they tell a story that mainstream sports media seems to be ignoring. While people are celebrating Paige Bueckers, pulling in 1.3 million viewers as a big win for women's basketball, there's a harsh truth that's being overlooked.
2.45 million, peaked with 3.09 million, up 307% from the previous high back in 2004. You guys might be asking, what was the ratings back in 2004? Very curious bunch. I appreciate it. We all want to stay informed, me as well. 601,000 from 2000.
That 1.3 million might seem impressive, but when you compare it to Caitlin Clark's viewership from last year, 2.66 million, it's clear that Bueckers' numbers fall short. That's double the audience, folks.
I'm here with Anissa and Rakia, and we are holding it down right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Okay. Sorry. What did I say your name? Cheyenne Zellers. I'm so sorry. That is embarrassing. Cheyenne.
This 50% drop in viewership sends a clear message about who truly sparks interest in women's basketball. While the WNBA and ESPN have been pushing hard to make Paige Bueckers the new face of the league, the numbers paint a different picture. It's like setting up a doubleheader with Clark playing the first game and Bueckers the second, only to watch half the crowd leave after Clark's game ends. During the draft broadcast, a reporter even stumbled over players' names during interviews, highlighting the lower energy around this year's draft compared to last year's Clark-led event.
Why was last year's draft such a big deal? Well, Caitlin Clark was getting drafted. Reason number one, Caitlin Clark getting drafted. Reason number two, why it was such a big deal. Well, Caitlin Clark was going number one overall. And the third reason why, calling a spade here, these three women, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink. Perfect.
Even veteran broadcaster Tim Wilson commented off-air saying, "I've never seen such a stark difference in energy from one draft to the next." He added, "This ratings drop should be a wake-up call for the WNBA." After Caitlin Clark's record-breaking season, selling out arenas and drawing massive viewership, there's a big question now. Is all that momentum fading now that she's not dominating the headlines?
No, it's down 49%. 49% of the audience said, yeah, I'll go watch paint dry instead. In fact, some people, Jason Whitlock, he didn't even realize the WNBA draft took place the other night. He found that out the next morning. That Paige Bueckers and the WNBA draft had actually taken.
These numbers matter for more than just bragging rights. In professional sports, TV ratings directly affect the bottom line. They help set advertising rates, influence sponsorship deals, impact team valuations, and ultimately shape player salaries. A 50% drop in viewership could mean the league loses millions in potential revenue.
Paige Bueckers is a star or a draw, that remains to be seen. Judging by the ratings for the Dump Diver draft the other night, Paige Bueckers is not a mainstream draw yet.
What's really eye-opening here is how much the league and ESPN poured into promoting Paige Bueckers. For weeks before the draft, there were profile pieces, feature stories, and non-stop commentary framing her as the next big star in women's basketball. But despite all that media effort, viewers just didn't show the same level of excitement they had for Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark now has 3,528 points in her career. She has officially broken Kelsey Plum's record from 2017.
The reaction on social media has been telling. Fans quickly recognized what these numbers really show. Caitlin Clark is still the biggest draw in women's basketball by a wide margin. The viewership data offers clear proof of who truly captures the public's attention. This large ratings gap raises serious questions about the WNBA strategy. Can they keep Clark's momentum going if she's not the main focus? Will the financial benefits from last year's Clark-driven hype fade if viewership keeps dropping? And perhaps most importantly, the league may be missing the mark on what its audience really wants. Despite all the talk about Bueckers being the future face of women's basketball, these ratings prove Clark already holds that title, and by a significant lead.
I've seen Paige Bueckers across social media for the last 5 years, it feels like. She's an elite female college basketball player. Had some knee injuries that she's rebounded from, but she's healthy right now. So she kind of sits behind Caitlin Clark. And I think that makes her a fade for me because I think that Caitlin Clark's shadow is real. I think Caitlin Clark is so dominant.
When comparing these two stars, there's one question that often gets ignored. What's more impressive? Winning a single championship or completely rewriting the NCAA record books? The media focus on Paige Bueckers' title has overshadowed Caitlin Clark's incredible statistical dominance. Clark broke records that had stood for 50 years and achieved feats no player, male or female, had ever done before.
Notice that the media has been overwhelmingly positive in their coverage of Paige Bueckers.
Yes, Paige Bueckers has that championship trophy, and she absolutely deserves credit for leading UConn to the title. But Caitlin Clark made history by becoming the all-time NCAA scoring leader, breaking a 50-year-old record, a milestone that stood for half a century. And this is just the beginning of Clark's dominance. She led the nation in both scoring and assists in the same season multiple times, a feat almost no other player in NCAA history has matched. This achievement represents basketball's ultimate paradox, being the best scorer and the best playmaker at the same time. It's like combining Michael Jordan's scoring ability with Magic Johnson's vision as a playmaker.
See, the media is fine with Paige being the face of the WNBA because she's already proven to be a loyal comrade. They can depend on her, maybe even control her. They can't do that with Caitlin Clark either because she is unwilling or she's realized that she does not need the media to be a mainstream draw. I think this WNBA season is going to be dominated by this media-created rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers.
When we look at their final season stats, the difference becomes clear. Caitlin Clark averaged 31.6 points, 8.9 assists, and 7.4 rebounds per game, close to a triple-double. Paige Bueckers, while outstanding, finished with 21.9 points, 3.8 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. The gap is obvious. Clark scored nearly 10 more points per game, more than doubled Bueckers' assist total, and also grabbed more rebounds. The media's focus on Bueckers' championship win, while downplaying Clark's statistical revolution, creates an imbalance in how these athletes are evaluated. While Bueckers' championship is a significant achievement, Clark's record-breaking career is like a blazing fire that has reshaped the entire landscape of women's basketball. Next voice, next voice. Caitlin Clark didn't just rack up stats. She turned regular season games into primetime events, packed arenas, and brought unprecedented mainstream attention to women's basketball. Her impact went far beyond numbers. She transformed the sport's visibility and popularity in real time. What makes her accomplishments even more impressive is that she achieved all of this while facing defenses built specifically to stop her. Every opponent knew Clark was getting the ball, but they still couldn't find a way to contain her offensive brilliance.
I think the media is creating this rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, hoping that Paige Bueckers will become the new face of the